flying into Target Field, hoping to provide the home field advantage as the Twins come off a rough road trip and look to get back on track and into the wild card race. Again, a race that they led as recent as just a few weeks ago. You see right now Toronto streaking to the lead. The Twins and the Rangers still hopes of getting back into those top two positions in the wild card race. Welcome inside Target Field. Another sweet summer night for baseball. The Twins hoping that the weather carries over to the field. They can play some sweet baseball after a 1-6 road trip. Let's take a look at the series setup. It was a rough go of it for the Twins, and they ran into a buzzsaw in the Toronto Blue Jays, who just continue to win baseball games. They're working on their 9th consecutive, and they were outscoring the road trip 60-27. I mentioned earlier, 1-6 on that trip. They're hoping to use the day off yesterday to hit the reset button and get back on track at a place that they've been great all year long. 270 runs scored at home, second in the American League. They're 34-22 here at Target Field, but they're going to face a Rangers team that's scoring a bunch of runs, and they've been great on the road. 32-26 away from home. That's best in the bigs. If the Twins are going to get back on track, it's going to come down to Kyle Gibson having the remedy, and the Twins getting back with their mojo here at Target Field. Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven take you through it. Minnesota back at home and looking to get back in the race.
By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Jeep. Find your summer of adventures with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
This three-game series between the Rangers and Twins begins with a couple of starting pitchers who've struggled as of late. Giovanni Gallardo going for the Texas Rangers and Kyle Gibson going for the Minnesota Twins. And it's the start of a 6-game homestand. Dick Bramer welcoming back Burt Blyleven.
Good to be back.
And we're happy to have him back in the booth. Now, the Twins, in the full turn of a rotation, have been just awful with their starters, and that poor stretch of starts started with a Kyle Gibson start?
Well, you know what? The Twins are at home now, and they need good things to happen. And hopefully for Kyle Gibson, he can do that. He's pitched very well here at home so far this year. He's had 2 very good starts against the Texas Rangers over his last 2 starts, that coming last year. But 34 wins, only 22 losses at home. The Twins have been scoring the offense some runs, and the pitching staff has held their own as far as throwing strikes.
This bad stretch of starts started against a red-hot, white-hot Toronto Blue Jay team. No respite here with the Texas Rangers because their lineup has been the league's best at producing runs as of late.
Yeah, the Texas Rangers, they want that wild card chance, too, to go to postseason. And they're also thinking, can we catch the Astros and the Angels? Only 4.5 games behind the Houston Astros. Since the All-Star break, they are 12-8. They've won 8 of their last 11 ball games. And how are they doing it? Mainly with offense.
And yet they have about the same record as the Minnesota Twins. As quickly as the wild card lead evaporated for the Twins, they can get it back if they start playing good baseball. Kyle Gibson hopes to start a string of good starts from the Twins rotation when we come back.
A drive to left field. The most electric moment at Target Field in years. That ball is caught by Aaron Hicks with his back to the infield. The 4th home run for the Twins against the Yankees. Toward the hole, the Twins win it. Suzuki delivers. A walk-off win for the Twins. And hoping that some of that Target Field magic that we've seen here this year will reemerge starting tonight. It was an awful road trip. And the Twins now a game below the 500 mark. First time since May 1st. And Bannister knows all about the ebbs and flows of a season. His team playing pretty good right now. And all they are is a 500 ball club. The Menards batting order for the Rangers in the opener. Delino DeShields will lead things off. And Shin-Soo Choo batting second. Prince Fielder. Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland, Josh Hamilton, Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, and Chris Jimenez.
Yeah, you know what, Dick, you mentioned only a 500 ball club, and again, only 4.5 behind the Houston Astros in the Western Division. And they'll face Kyle Gibson here tonight. For Kyle, his 23rd start of the season, looking for his 9th win. Earned run average, very good, even though he did have a poor outing in his last start in Toronto.
Twins out on the field. Brought to you by Northland Ford. Eddie Rosario in left, Aaron Hicks in center, Torrey Hunter in right, Trevor Plouffe at third, Eduardo Escobar, Brian Dozier up the middle, Joe Mauer at first, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Twins pretty much settling on Eduardo Escobar as their shortstop. The most reliable shortstop play they've had the last couple of years has come last year when he was the everyday shortstop. And Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can end a bad streak after a day off yesterday. Here is Delino to Shields, and there is strike one from Gibson.
And that's what Kyle Gibson needs to do right there. Attack the strike zone, work ahead in the count.
1 strike 2 to Shields. And missing the inside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, DeShields a Rule 5 pickup out of the Houston Astro organization for the Texas Rangers. Having a very solid year, just 22 years old.
Shot foul. It's been remarkable. The Rangers were willing to assume the Rule 5 commitment. He had to be on the 25-man roster all year long, but they projected him as being a 4th outfielder type, and instead he's played center field. He's pretty much replaced Leonis Martin as the center fielder, and he's just been a wonderful pickup. And now the Rangers have elevated their hopes for him. Hack foul, still 1-2.
Well, of course, this is Delino DeShields Jr. His father had a great baseball career, especially in the stolen base department. His dad stole 463 major league stolen bases. His father played 13 seasons for the Expos, Dodgers, Cardinals, O's, and the Cubs.
And that's poked to right field, and that'll drop in front of Hunter. And that's what the Rangers have seen. DeShields drawing walks, getting on base, and he fought off a couple of pitches and ended up fighting one off into right field for a leadoff hit.
Yeah, the guy that you really don't want on the base pass. He leads the Rangers in stolen bases with 18 in 21 attempts. Take a look at this pitch right here. This pitch stayed up right there. And Kyle Gibson, when he's on, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs. Now 23 double plays turned behind him, but he's only had 1 double play turned behind him in his last 4 starts.
Opponents have been 4 out of 5 in stolen bases. DeShields with a healthy lead and a lean towards second. And it's outside, ball 1. Rangers are the best road team in the American League. Playing better on the road than they have at home.
Yeah, 32 and 26 on the road, 23 and 29 in Arlington.
See newly acquired Mike Napoli back with the Rangers again.
And one thing Kyle does a good job of, and that's keeping runners close to first base. As you mentioned, only 4 stolen bases off of him in 5 attempts. He does have 1 pickoff on the year. Very quick home, very quick to first.
Chu's only grounded into 6 double plays this year. And that drifts outside, 2-0. Gibson's had 3 bad starts out of 4 since the All-Star break. Went into the break with a 4-game winning streak. Quality starts in all 4 games. And he just hasn't pitched as effectively since the break. 2-0 to Chu. And closer at first, but DeShields gets back.
You know, sometimes as a young pitcher, and Kyle Gibson's still a young pitcher. Good quick throw over there. Joe Mauer applies the tag, but DeShields gets that right hand back on the bag. Sometimes you worry more about that runner at first than you are to the hitter at home, and all of a sudden you're behind an account in a hitter's count.
Now 3-0. In his last start, 4 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs, 9 hits, 3 walks. It was an awful start for Gibson. And in terms of depth, the number of outs recorded, his 4 2/3 inning was the longest of the 5 starts we've seen recently. And now he hits the outside corner, 3-1.
We don't want to keep going back to those 7 games on the road, but the relievers actually pitched more innings than the starters in those 7 ball games. So you don't want to see that happen.
Tommy Malone hopes to rejoin the rotation soon. He was not on the road trip. 3-1 to Shin-Soo Choo. That one slapped foul. 3-2.
Now, Chu in his second season with the Rangers, his 11th season overall, up with the Mariners, the Indians, the Reds.
Full count. See if DeShields takes off here.
I would have to guess that he's going.
He flops back to the bag.
Yeah, what Kyle does a good job of is that slide step toward home plate. He works off that first base side of the pitching rubber. And then when he comes set and delivers toward home plate, he doesn't pick that left knee up very high. So that might be an extra step that allows Suzuki maybe to throw out DeShields, and there he goes.
And ball four, doesn't matter. Chu takes a walk, first and second, nobody out, and that'll bring up Prince Fielder. Fielder 36 times has delivered a hit in the first inning. He is 1 point behind Jason Kipnis for the American League Batting Championship lead.
Yeah, Kipnis hitting at 326, Fielder at 325. 44 multi-hit games for Prince Fielder, tied with Ian Kinsler for the American League lead in that department.
And over the inside corner, a strike. Fielder has bounced into a team-leading 13 double plays. What we saw from Gibson regularly before the break, situations like this, when they did come up, he would make that pitch to get that ground ball double play, and very often pitch out of a jam like this without allowing a run. And he needs to do that here. One strike. Inside, 1-1.
And that's one thing, you know, Dick, even though I was not with the ball club since the All-Star break, I watched a lot of the ball games. I watched Gibson pitch. Gibson gets a lot of ground ball outs by pitching that sinker down and away, but for some reason he wants to pitch a lot of hitters inside. Now Suzuki sits away.
To right field, Hunter over, makes the catch. Tagging is DeShields. He'll try to advance, and he will. A line drive for the first out.
Has a good read by DeShields at second base, not getting too far toward third where he could go back and tag up. So good baseball instincts right there. Because that ball was almost on the ground when Shields almost golfed that ball out to Torrey Hunter.
And now Adrian Beltre.
The ball that Fielder hit.
Beltre with 9 ground ball double plays. Got to keep an eye on Chu. He's quite capable of stealing second as well. Down low, ball 1.
They say in Texas, Beltre trying to play through a left thumb injury. He missed some time on a disabled list and came back, they think, maybe a little bit too quick. That's why the 9 home runs and only 30 runs batted in.
And now 2-0. A week and a half ago, he collected his 3rd cycle. One of just 4 guys in Major League history to hit for the cycle 3 times.
He's been around baseball a long time. First came up with the Dodgers back in 1998. This is his 18th season.
Veteran hitter, and he's got Gibson right where he wants him. 2-0. On the ground. 6 to the bag. Double play. And Gibson delivers one of those big pitches early to keep the Rangers from scoring.
Plays pitcher's best friend, and Kyle Gibson needed that right there.
Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can win this series, something they have not done, win a series since the All-Star break. And in the opener, here's the Menards batting order. Aaron Hicks to the leadoff spot. Brian Dozier batting second. Joe Mauer third. Sano, Plouffe, and Hunter in the middle. Rosario, Suzuki, and Escobar rounded out.
And Yovani Gallardo on the mound for the Texas Rangers, making his first start against the Minnesota Twins in a Rangers uniform. Twins saw him when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers, making his 8th career start against the Twins.
Hicks to lead things off. First pitch lifted foul. The Rangers, one of 3 teams in the American League with a higher team earned run average, 4.49, than the Twins team ERA, 4.27. And as of late, Gallardo has really contributed to that. Gallardo with 18 earned runs allowed in 19 innings over his last 4 starts. Called strike here, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, an ERA at 5.35 over the last 4 starts. But the Rangers, there's Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, have won 3 of those 4 starts. He has not pitched well, but plenty of run support.
As of late, overall, he hasn't had much, but as of late, the Rangers have been knocking the cover off the ball, and Gallardo has benefited because of that. 1-2 to Hicks. And driven foul over the tarp.
It's a lot like Kyle Gibson. You look at their numbers, and they're almost the same. Prior to the All-Star break, Gallardo was 7-8 in 19 starts, an ERA under 3. Same as Kyle Gibson. Both of them have struggled here in their first 4 starts coming out of the break.
Another 1-2 to Hicks. Just off the corner. Close pitch. 2-2.
Gallardo, 29 years old, in his first season with the Rangers, 8 seasons for the Brewers. Made the All-Star team for the Brewers in 2010. Guy that comes straight over the top. A lot of breaking stuff. Excellent control over his career, and he has stayed healthy.
A roller hits the mound and skips to Andrus. Hicks retired, 1 away. And the Rangers have made 85 errors on the season. Here's the Northland Ford defense for tonight. Josh Hamilton on the left, Delino DeShields Jr. in center, Shin-Soo Choo in right, Beltre and Andrus left side of the infield, Odor Moreland on the right side, and Chris Jimenez behind the plate.
Yeah, only the Oakland A's have committed more errors. Oakland with 94 errors on the season. The Rangers with the 85 you mentioned.
Brian Dozier is 5 for 7 with a home run in his history with Yovani Gallardo. And a breaking ball gets a swing and a miss. Rangers took 2 out of 3 against the Twins in Texas. That series was in mid-June. Tapper to short. Another play for Andrus. 2 down.
Yeah, they say that the infield, even though they have committed a lot of errors, Andrus with 18, Odor at second with 13, but Odor was sent down, and he's played very well since he's come back up, and Andrus has done a very good job as of late fielding ground balls, and he gets the first 2 chances.
2 down, and now Mauer. He's 6 for 12 against Gallardo. The Twins held a players-only meeting mid-afternoon today before scheduled workouts.
I've been in a lot of those, Dick, and a lot of times those are 1 or 2 guys to do the talking, then they open it up to the floor, and giving everybody a chance to hopefully get something off their chest that might be bothering them. And we showed you Torrey Hunter right there. I'm sure he was one of them that said his piece.
Kevin Gorg will have more on the meeting. Paul Molitor had one that he called when the team was in Toronto. Kind of joked about it today. That didn't have the desired result with the Twins really.
Was that before or after?
In the middle of it. There was not an immediate turnaround. 1-2 to Mauer. Sano hoping for a chance to hit here in the first inning. 1-2. And now 2-2.
You know, you don't like to have a lot of meetings. I don't recall a players meeting being called, you know, this is probably the first one I've heard this year.
Yeah. Yep.
But, you know, you don't like having those, but sometimes you need a little wake-up call and everybody's on the same page.
2-2. And now 3-2.
Gallardo over his career has averaged about 3.5 walks per 9 innings. He's a strikeout pitcher, over 8 strikeouts per 9 innings in his career. He is the Brewers' all-time strikeout leader when he left the Brewer organization.
And Mauer to right field. That's hanging in the air, but Chu can't make a play. Mauer takes a big turn. Chu's got a great arm, and it'll be a 2-out single for Mauer. Joe got the first hit in the ball game Sunday in Cleveland in the 7th inning. Takes care of matters in the first inning here tonight.
We'll take a look at the pitch right here. A little sinker down and away, and Joe pulling that ball, which is nice to see. Ball hit into the gap almost like a knuckleball. Chu goes over, and the ball ends up getting it before it gets by him. So Mauer a single with 2 outs.
And now Sano will have his chance with a man aboard. Ball 1. This Twins team, and I don't know how you would explain a gap this wide, but this Twins team here at Target Field is hitting .274, and on the road they're hitting .221. That's, hold on. That's a 53-point gap, Bert. Popped up, foul, and out of play.
Well, they have played very well here, and you know, past history. I remember in '87 we played very well at the Metrodome, and we didn't play very well on the road.
But a 53-point batting average gap. That's incredible. 1-1 to Sano. Off the plate, 2-1.
One thing home averaging, they've averaged 4.82 runs per game, and on the road they've averaged almost 3.5 runs. So yeah, they definitely have enjoyed home cooking.
Team ERA is more than a run less at home than it is on the road. And now 3-1 with Plouffe on deck.
Right-handers hitting .257 against Gallardo. He's given up only 3 home runs, 3 of his 11 to right-handed hitters.
Sano takes a strike, and Sano thought it was ball 4. 3-2. Mauer will leave early from first.
One thing about Gallardo, he will throw a lot of breaking balls in fastball situations, and he has good control of that. A little cutter right there.
Good pitch. Had plenty of the plate. Full count. Mauer goes, and the pitch popped foul back into the seats.
Trying to sneak a fastball by him right there at 92 miles an hour.
Gallardo will be in the second tier of starting pitchers who will hit the free agent market after the season is over with. David Price will be in the top tier.
Well, he's a guy that lives in Fort Worth, Texas, and he's very, very happy to be pitching where he grew up. Even though he was born in Mexico, he grew up in Fort Worth, Texas.
And Sano takes low.
So you wonder if the Rangers may want to get into the bidding war. They need pitching.
Yes, they do. Plouffe will bat. He's 3 for 7 with a couple of home runs against Gallardo.
Gallardo in his first 7 starts as against the Twins has a Brewer, 2 wins, 2 losses, an ERA at 3.5. Has not beaten the Twins here at Target Field in 3 prior starts.
Jimenez with a pat on the back or a little lower to Gallardo. Gibson was able to pitch out of a jam in the first, and now Gallardo has pitched his way into one. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Most runs since the All-Star break. Runs allowed. Twins have given up the most, and the Rangers the second most. The Twins trying to break through with 2 outs here in the first. high. Ball one.
Plouffe leading the club with 61 runs batted in. One ahead of Torrey Hunter, who's on deck.
And now down and in. Twins haven't won enough games, and when they have won, they really haven't been good baseball games. Last 3 wins by scores of 10-1, 9-5, and 10-9. Well, they'll take those. They just need to start winning games, but see what Plouffe does on 2-0. Checks his swing, but takes a strike.
And there's a little cutter slider right there in a fastball situation again.
Two and one. And now up and in. 3-1 with Torrey Hunter on deck.
Gallardo has allowed 57 runs, 14 in the first inning. So see if the Twins can add to that total. So most runs he's given up in an inning.
Fouled away. Now it's 3-2, and both runners will be able to leave early. Bannister
in his first season as a manager.
He managed your son Todd in the minor leagues.
Yep. As a major league manager.
Yep. Full count to Plouffe with 2 gone in the first. Tapper to short. Andrus gets another play. And one target across. The Twins leave 2 men aboard. No score, even though each team had a threat in the first.
Players only meeting. You heard Dick Bramer talk about that earlier in the ball game. The players don't like to do that, and they were in there for a good 15-20 minutes. Eduardo Escobar came out of that meeting, had a quick conversation with him. He said, you know what, we've all been pressing, we all acknowledge that, we talked about it, it's time to hit the reset button and start having fun, and I'm the guy that's got to stir up the fun. And he said he's going to be in the dugout making noise, he'll be out in the field making noise, he's going to have a smile on his face, and he's going to hope that it's contagious. And you talk to Paul Molitor, he knows Eduardo Escobar is one of those guys that kind of gets things going in that dugout, and it's a long baseball season, guys, and they realize there's still 50 games to go. They're going to have some fun and get back to what they did when they had that tremendous start to the season and put themselves in such a great position.
Thank you, Kevin. Mitch Moreland will lead things off in the second. He's just taken strike one.
Escobar, a big part of the personality in that clubhouse. So, yes, very important. 2 very good pitches by Kyle Gibson right here to Moreland. This is the pitch I always talk about. Get ahead, good fastball away, and then he went back in with a 4-seam fastball. Didn't have that same movement to get ahead in the count 0-2.
With 2 strikes, Plouffe moves over to the right side of the infield. Moreland takes one up and in.
I know one thing Paul Molitor talked about from those 7 games on the road is that the hitters for Toronto and Cleveland they felt very comfortable, he thought, at the plate. He wants his pitchers to be a little more aggressive off the plate when they get ahead. And good breaking ball right there, down and in. Moreland unable to hold up, and Gibson picks up his first strikeout.
If the season has been a little uneven for Gibson, more uneven than he would like, this is one thing we've seen this year, a much improved breaking ball. It's become a strikeout pitch to left-handed batters.
Yeah, remember a couple months ago he was saying that he didn't have control of that, but he stayed with it. Good breaking ball right there underneath the swing of a power hitting left-handed hitter.
And another one standing in the box now, Josh Hamilton. Inside, ball 1. Hamilton has had an okay return to the Texas Rangers.
He came back on April 27th, traded from the Angels to the Rangers, spent some time on a disabled list, almost a month with a strained left hamstring. And only his 36th game.
2-0.
Good change up right there, Hamilton.
And that's what teams have done to him. A lot of off-speed stuff, even in fastball counts. And again, Plouffe playing on the right side of the infield. And he hits it so hard he beats the shift with a one-out
It's
single.
because where the location of that pitch was, Suzuki sat inside and it got too much of the plate. And Hamilton finds that hole between Mauer and Dozier in the right field. Watch the catcher, Suzuki. He's creeping inside, but see where that pitch was. Left the letter high outside. And Hamilton, who likes to turn on the ball, did a good job of not missing that pitch. Second hit for the Rangers.
Elvis Andrus will bat. Andrus, like Beltre, came into the game with 9 ground ball double plays. Gibson got Beltre to hit into a twin killing, and now he'll go after Andrus. There's strike 1.
Andrus, a 2-time All-Star, just 26 years old, out of Venezuela. This is already his 7th season with the Rangers. Came up very young.
1 strike. And a deep drive to left. Rosario back to the corner, and it's gone. A home run. Andrus hitting just his 5th home run of the year. And it's 2-0.
I'm going to guess that's a changeup right there that Andrus just got the barrel of the bat out front and lined it into the flowers out in left field. Well, we saw 2 bad locations right there. The fastball up to Hamilton that got a base hit, and then a spinner that just kind of hung right there. And it's a 2-0 Rangers lead.
Just over the wall and left. Gibson giving up his 15th home run. And now Rougned Odor. Down low, ball 1. First time through the order. Now 7 plate appearances, and Gibson's retired just 3 men. Tapper right side. Chest high hop for Dozier. 2 down. And that'll bring up Jimenez. Robertson, Chirinos, and Carlos Corporan are both hurt, and so the Rangers have been struggling behind the plate. And both Wilson and Jimenez have done very well. They're known as defensive catchers, but both have contributed offensively.
Yeah, Jimenez, a career 209 hitter coming into this year. He's his 2nd step with the Rangers, up with him a little bit last year.
1-0. And a breaking ball, a strike, 1-1. Gibson trying to even his record at 9-9 this year.
When you're not a strikeout pitcher, and I still don't think Kyle Gibson is a strikeout pitcher, you have to work ahead in the count.
And that really took a bite out of Kurt Suzuki.
Gambolino, the home plate umpire, walks out the ball to Kyle Gibson, and it's sinkered down and in. Jimenez fouling it into Kurt. Pinball wizard.
1-2.
Definitely take a beating back there.
And the count will be 1-2. Yeah.
Jimenez catching himself. He knows. Kanawi.
One and two to the Texas catcher. Struck him out. The Rangers jump out in front. Elvis Andrus hooks a home run to left with a man aboard, and it's 2-0. Torrey Hunter will start a Twins comeback, he hopes, in the bottom of the second. That on August 16th, it's Super America Not Whole Kids Day as the Twins take on the Indians. The first 5,000 fans 14 and under get a TC plush presented by Delta Airlines. Twinsbaseball.com/tickets is where to go to get your tickets right now. Torrey Hunter taking ball one, his first at bat of the ball game. He'll be followed by Rosario and Suzuki. Swing and a miss. And now inside, 2-1. I want to pass along happy 90th birthday to Bill Zellman of Moose Lake, Minnesota. Happy birthday, young man.
Hideaway, Bill.
Hunter checks his swing, and no swing. It's 3-1. Gallardo.
I know I've been gone a while, but there's 240 more days until my birthday.
Believe it or not, I was not going to ask.
Yeah, well, just in case Bill was watching.
Okay. That is a stop behind the bag. Beltre with a sensational play, ending up next to the tarp.
The four-time Gold Glove winner at third base shows his consistency over the years of being a great third baseman. This looked like a double, and Torrey saying, "Whoa, why me? I'll remember that." What a great play by Beltre.
Right over the bag.
He reaches out and then on the run able to get it a little one hopper. Moreland does a good job of getting that little short hop over there, but what an outstanding defensive play.
One down, and now Rosario flips one foul. Gallardo with some early run support and some early glove support. All 4 outs on ground balls. And another foul. 0-2 to Rosario. You know, one thing that and I understand the reaction. Twins fans really disappointed in the road trip and frankly how the team has played since the All-Star break. And I don't know whether they're going to or not, but the schedule actually sets up very good for them in terms of becoming a contender once again. In the wild card race, there are 5 teams ahead of the Twins. Now you've got the 3 division leaders and then the 5 teams: Toronto, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and Texas. 1 and 2 to Rosario, and he swings and misses 2 away. And the Twins have games left against 4 of the 5 teams. If they could get some traction and just start playing better baseball, they don't need a 9-game winning streak. You just need to start winning series, and the whole complexion of where they're at can be changed rather abruptly.
Yeah, not only the 3 games that we have against the Rangers, the Indians come back in. Hopefully the Twins can pay them back for what they did against the Twins in Cleveland. Then they go to New York, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. So yeah, the next couple of handfuls of game, very important.
Here's Suzuki. Pretty good chance that by the time the Twins go to New York next week, the Yankees will be listed in the wild card standings, not the Blue Jays, because the Blue Jays are red hot. They swept the Yankees in New York, and now this weekend we'll face them again at the Rogers Center. 1 strike to Suzuki. Strike 2. And I don't know whether Suzuki's grimacing because of the strike 2 call or what happened to him in the top half of this inning.
Well, he's really had a tough time this year offensively. Kurt hitting only a .229.
1 and 2.
Last year he hit .288 for the Twins.
Gallardo, as we were told, seems to want to throw about 20 pitches per inning, and he's on a pace for that here. 39th pitch, or 40th pitch rather, coming up here, and he'll have at least 1 more. 2 and 2.
And his last start in Arlington against the Houston Astros, that came 5 days ago. Excuse me, 6 days ago. He threw 98 pitches in 5 innings and got the win.
And now he's run the count full. Escobar on deck. He's taking on a Texas team that's had some pitching issues, and just before the game tonight, Rangers announced that Cole Hamels has been scratched from his start here on Thursday with a left groin injury. Full count. And Suzuki pops it up towards Andrus. And Gallardo has a 1-2-3 inning, thanks to a tremendous play by Beltre to start the inning.
Fans here in Twins territory. Phil Housley threw out the first pitch. It's going to be a big year for Mr. Housley. November the 9th, he goes into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and boy, did he earn it. Straight from high school at South St. Paul into the National Hockey League, a 21-year career, 7-time All-Star, kind of reinvented the offensive defenseman, the way he played in the National Hockey League. I remember watching him, guys, at Wakota Arena. He never left the ice. He'd go out there, one shifted forward, two shifted D, and he'd just stay out there, and he was mesmerizing. What a career, well-earned, into the Hockey Hall of Fame for Phil Housley.
Thank you. Nice stop going to his left, and Escobar will only be able to knock it down. A hard smash, and Shields has a couple of hits in game 1 of this series. That'll be one more thing for us to look at when we go to Toronto next year in the NHL Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto.
Yep. Congratulations to him. That ball jumped on that first pitch by DeShields. Escobar going to his left, dove for it, fell out of his glove, and the speedy DeShields at first base.
10 plate appearances, 4 hits and a walk against Gibson. Here's Shin-Soo Choo, who drew a walk in the first inning. And strike. Rangers have had all kinds of injuries, principally to the pitching staff this year, and they've just kind of followed the old wild card adage: hang around 500, and then hopefully you got a good streak in you in August and September, and who knows what's going to happen. Popped up, foul, and out of play.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, the Astros and the Angels, they kind of been teeter-tottering back and forth, and here all of a sudden here comes the Texas Rangers.
Have 4 games, left with the Angels in mid-September. Right now, the Angels, one of the wild card leaders, would be one of the wild card teams if the season ended today.
Saw the shift right there the Twins put on with 2 strikes. Trevor Plouffe playing at short. Escobar moving over to the second base side.
Closer play, and the reason it's different now, there's a base stealing threat at first. So let's imagine on this 0-2 pitch that DeShields is going to take off. The Twins would have Escobar, the shortstop, take the throw. He's accustomed to that. That's how he makes a living around the second base bag, rather than Plouffe, who would be normally in that spot if it weren't a base stealing threat. Check swing, and he went. Chu is gone on strikes.
And Gibson picks up his 3rd strikeout. High fastball right there. Chu unable to hold up.
And that'll bring up Fielder.
Paul Schreiber, the third base umpire, saying Chu went too far.
You can see the barrel of the bat whipping across the front of the plate. And now Fielder, who had a liner to right his first time up. Rangers had a threat in the first and didn't score, then got a 1-out single and home run to get the first 2 runs of the board on the board. Fielder takes a ball. Swing and a miss. Everybody watching DeShields, and the dugout yelped when he took 2 steps towards second base. But Gibson, with that quick slide step, discouraged the stolen base attempt.
I think, you know, with Fielder up there too, you don't want to be too distracting for Fielder.
Fouled back.
Especially the season he is having. For a guy that got operated on neck surgery last May back in 2014, I don't think the Rangers expected him to have the year that he's having. Yeah, the power numbers are down, but the average at .325.
1-2.
It's always a good hitter. over 400 major league home runs. Excuse me, over 300.
Fouled off a leg. It would be hard for DeShields or anybody to get a good jump on Gibson. This is about as quick as I've seen him this year. He's barely lifting his left foot to get his spikes out of the dirt and then striding forward. And at least once in this sequence, DeShields has tried to take a quick step and then realize, oh, that's too quick.
Well, what he does a good job of too, he doesn't always just come set and then throw home.
Right.
He'll hold it for maybe a second or two and let DeShields kind of stop, make him stop, make him start his run from a dead run rather than maybe as he steps.
Another 1-2 to Fielder. Dug out by Suzuki. Twins have had a bad run in the rotation, the complete turn through the rotation. And as bad as Gibson's start was against Toronto, 4 2/3, 8 earned runs allowed. It was the longest start of any of the 5 starters. Tyler Duffy, Santana, Hughes, Pelfrey, they all had shorter starts than the 4 2/3 innings of Gibson. And that obviously has to change.
Yeah, for the Twins to get back where they're at and then hopefully back to 500 again and then move forward, get 10 games. You know, they were 10 games over 500 at one time.
And the Rangers were 6 games over, and yet
right.
We perceive the Rangers, because they played better lately, that they are a playoff contender, and the Twins are not. Here's a ball looped into center, and a nice decoy by Dozier, but DeShields with enough speed to get to second base. He completely fooled DeShields, who was heading back to first base and then had to sprint to get to second.
Well, Fielder gets jammed right here, but he's strong enough to just hit that little flare into center field. And as Dozier went back, of course, DeShields has to hesitate, but you see right there, once that ball touches the grass, DeShields gets to second.
First and second, one down, and now Beltre, who hit into a double play his first time up. Rangers with 5 hits already against Gibson. He's only retired 6 batters. And you can see the location has been off. Suzuki set up down and away, and Beltre took one over the inside.
Yeah, you want to win at this level, you have to be more consistent with all your pitches, and you can't make mistakes.
1 strike to Beltre. Tapper to third. Foul. Well, it's not very often the baseball gods react as quickly as they might here, but let's imagine Beltre hitting one to the right center field gap and Torrey Hunter diving and taking a double away from Beltre. Beltre took a double away from Hunter in the bottom of the second.
I think I'd rather see him hit into another double play. We'll save that for another time.
2 strikes to Beltre.
Now ahead in the count.
Pick off to second. Safe. And no look from Dozier to the Twins dugout.
A lot of times that comes from the catcher Suzuki. He'll put the glove up and then drop it, and that's when Gibson spun around right there. So he got the sign from Suzuki, spun around, and Dozier was there. That's where you want to throw it, but DeShields getting that hand back on the bag.
0-2. See a bigger leg kick from Gibson with DeShields at second than we saw with DeShields at first. Gibson got ahead of Fielder and then gave up the bloop single. He's jumped ahead of Beltre 0-2. 0-2 again. And a breaking ball, tap foul.
Yeah, that changeup of Gibson right there has a little bit of almost a screwball type of motion on it and movement. Now they're going to talk about this pitch right here.
Really remarkable when you think about it. Beltre getting his third career cycle. Only Babe Herman in the early 30s, Bob Musial, who did it in the 20s, and Long John Riley, who did it before the turn of the last century in the late 1800s. I don't think they had fences on the field back then. 2 strikes. Struck him out with a changeup. 2 down.
There's that movement again. He came back with it. This one at 83 miles an hour. Beltre swinging through it. So strikeout number 4 for Gibson. You see the good sink on that. Say it's almost like a screwball. It goes down and in to right-handed hitters.
And now Moreland, who struck out on a slider. Gibson's had to try to pitch out of trouble in all 3 innings. He did so successfully in the first. Gave up the 2-run home run in the second. But now pitching around a pair of singles in the third. Or so he hopes. Swing and a miss. Another changeup. The strikeout of Beltre, the 100th on the season for Gibson. And 138 in the third innings. Missed the inside corner, barely, 1-1.
Gibson coming into the ball game. This is his 64th start in his career. He's averaged about 5.7 strikeouts per 9 innings.
So I know by your standard, you said you don't think you don't consider him a strikeout pitcher. He's the first Twin pitcher to get to 100 strikeouts this year.
But the thing is, the staff for the Twins is not a strikeout staff.
Phil Hughes, 144 in the third innings, leads the staff in innings pitched, 85 strikeouts. Pelfrey, 122 innings, 58 strikeouts. 2-1 to a dangerous left-handed hitter. Chopped foul, 2-2.
Another good changeup right there. So Gibson here tonight really trusting that changeup.
You can see the strikeout leaders on the Twins. Of course, I was going to say all starters, but of course Trevor May's now a reliever. 2-2 to Moreland. Missed inside. He's tried that pitch 5 or 6 times to a left-handed batter and has just missed getting that pitch.
Sometimes that umpire that sits over the right shoulder when the left-hander up, that ball has to have a little bit of the plate, and some umpires will not call that unless it has the whole plate. See number 5 just a bit inside.
3-2. Runners will leave now. Big pitch here early for Gibson. Struck him out.
I take it back.
He's a strikeout pitcher now.
That inning he was.
He struck out the side. NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
At the Carew Atrium, just out the press box door and to our left, Eduardo Escobar leading things off in the Twins' third. One strike. Escobar, Hicks, and Dozier in the third. And Escobar takes down and away, 1-1. Toronto rolling on. They're leading Oakland at the Rogers Center 4-1. The Yankees are losing 2-1 to Cleveland. Back to the glove of Gallardo. One down. And that'll bring up Hicks.
Yeah, if those scores hold up, Toronto only a half a game behind the Yankees, and they're looking for the Toronto Blue Jays looking for their 9th straight win.
They've already sold out the 3 games at the Rogers Center this weekend, and we were there. You were taking your break, but Jack Morris and I were there for the provincial holiday the Monday afternoon for David Price's first start before the Blue Jays. And it was an electric atmosphere. It was very, very much playoff-like. And they will have that atmosphere again this weekend.
And even David Price, after that ball game, I watched it, and David Price said he had never experienced a crowd like that before.
This from a guy who pitched in the World Series.
Right.
2-0 to Hicks. He had a ground ball to short his first time up. Gallardo gave up a 2-out single to Mauer, 2-out walk to Sano. The only base runners the Twins have had against him. And now 3-0 with Dozier on deck.
One thing Gallardo has been, he's been very steady as far as innings pitched. He'll average about 190 to 210 innings pitched a year.
It's the corner, 3-1. And he'll be out there in the class of the Nolascos, the Santanas, the Hugheses, the second tier of starting pitching that'll be available in free agency. And a soft liner caught by Odor, 2 down.
Not a good strike to ball ratio. We just showed you that. But one thing he does, he's always around the plate. Again, doesn't walk that many batters. Sometimes it takes a while for him to get into a groove. And that high sinker right there stayed up. But Hicks put a good swing on it, but Odor right there for the second out. So 6 in a row retired by Gallardo.
And not a ball hit out of the infield other than Mauer's 2-out single. Here is Dozier. Off the plate, ball 1. Two and 0. Popped up. And Moreland in foul ground. Ends the inning. Gallardo pitching from behind in the count. Able to have a 1-2-3 inning nonetheless.
Hodgkin's lymphoma, undergoing chemotherapy, will continue the duties as head coach, president of basketball operations, and nobody can relate more in the sports world, in the sports community, than Twins general manager Terry Ryan, who a year and a half ago had a cancer scare, and we're happy to report Terry is doing fine.
Our prayers and thoughts go out to the Saunders family, especially you, Flip.
Josh Hamilton will lead off the 4th inning. He'll be followed by Elvis Andrus and Rougned Odor. Hamilton singled and then scored on the Andrus home run. That's the extent of the scoring so far. 1-1. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim paying most of Hamilton's contract. He'll try to beat this out. That's a sensational play by Kyle Gibson. That looked like a swinging bunt, in the way Hamilton can still run. That looked like a base hit.
That's an outstanding play. Kyle getting over there because of the shift. Nobody, Trevor Plouffe, was playing over by second base, so almost a swinging bunt right off the end of the bat. Gibson has to go over. Doesn't have time, but sets himself up perfectly. Gets his body in line to spin around and barehand it and then flip it as quick as he could over to Mauer. Nice defensive play by Gibson.
It's further evidence of my belief that Kyle Gibson's the best fielding Twins pitcher in a long time. You want to go back to Jim Cott. I'm not going to argue that. Johan Santana was good, but Kyle Gibson has just tremendous athleticism on the mound.
You know, I played with a couple guys in the early 70s. Bill Campbell was an outstanding, he was a reliever, also Tom Bergmeyer, but as far as starters, of course,
right,
Kitty Cott, 16 gold gloves. And that's the only play. What made that play easier for Gibson is the way he turned his body ready to grab it barehanded and then flip it. His back wasn't toward first base.
1-2 to Andrus. Inside now, 2-2.
Andrus in his last at bat got a little hanger right there and hit a 2-run home run into the left field flower bed. A line drive home run. Trying to ruin those pretty flowers out there.
Backhanded by Dozier, and now Mauer can't dig out the low throw, and Andrus will reach.
I'd have to say this is an infield base hit. Joe Mauer, that ball kind of hit off the heel of his glove and rolled up his arm, but a great effort by Brian Dozier. He went a long way for this ball. It didn't hit second base. See where that ball lands and off the glove of Mauer.
So it will be a base hit for Andrus. And now Odor hit a ground ball to Dozier his first time up. Yankees have tied the Indians at 2 in the 8th inning. And a strike that covers the inside corner.
Yeah, Odor, only 21 years old, from Venezuela. He came up last year in May from Double-A. Ended up playing in 114 ball games last year. Started the season this year with Texas, then sent down to the minor leagues for about a month. Since his recall, has hit the ball very well.
Up high, 1-1. Two teams with just about the same record. The Rangers at 500, the Twins a game below. With the Rangers leading here 2-0. Inside. Gibson has not had an easy inning by any means. At least 2 men have reached in every inning, and now Andrus with the ground ball up the middle.
It hasn't been easy for that man to watch either over the last week. Neil Allen, the pitching coach.
Swinging a foul. 2-2. At one point, the Twins were in the top third of the league in team ERA. Now they're in the bottom third.
Gibson has pitched very well here at Target Field this year at 13 starts, now 13 starts. 5 wins, 4 losses, an ERA at 3.13.
Up high, now 3-2. We'll see what the Rangers do with Andrus, if anything. Gibson's been tough for DeShields to get a read on, and a good jump. Andrus with 11 steals and 16 tries.
Well, they have a 2-0 lead. I wouldn't be surprised if Bannister sends them right here.
Big leg kick, and the ball flipped foul over the dugout. Haven't seen Gibson do that very often, with a bigger leg kick with a runner at first, a base stealing runner at first. And now a check of Andrus. Surprise of many, the Rangers are very much alive in the wild card race despite all the injuries they've had. Bannister's done a really good job with his team. Runner goes, and the pitch, line foul.
And the pitch mounts for Gibson. This will be pitch number 70. Looking for the second out here in the 4th inning.
Of course, the Twins had and needed an off day yesterday, particularly the bullpen staff. Runner goes, and the pitch popped up. Plouffe chasing it near the tarp, and coming up a step short.
He went a long way to try to get that fly ball, but never, just unable to get there in time. So they'll try it again by inning. 17 in the first, 16, 21 last inning, and 16 already here in the 4th.
Trying to get Odor to hit a ball on the ground at someone, but he's left pitches up, and that's why we've had the foul pops. 3-2, and Odor steps out of the box. Runner goes again, and the pitch hit to left center field. Hicks chasing it, Rosario chasing it. Rosario with the catch, comes up firing, and the throw backed up by Suzuki. It's a nice catch by Rosario, and he showed off his arm trying to double off Andrus.
Yeah, it was a very nice catch from our angle. Looked like it was going to be trouble, but that ball seemed to hang up a little bit. Yeah, there's some speed in the outfield with Hicks and Rosario. When this ball was first hit, I thought, uh-oh, extra base hit, but Rosario tracked it down, spun, and then with Andrus taking off, Rosario showing off his arm, and Suzuki doing a good job of backing up Mauer.
That's a pretty important backup. That ball would have bounced, looked like, into the camera well, and would have allowed Andrus to get second base. He's still at first with 2 down, and here's Chris Jimenez, called out on strikes his first time up. Ball 1. Twins have a lot to play for yet this year, but down the road, Twins fans imagine an outfield with Buxton, Hicks, and Rosario, and they are going to be able to cover an awful lot of ground out there. It's a pretty spacious ballpark in the gaps. 1-0. 2-0.
Jimenez signing a minor league contract by the Rangers over the winter. He came up with the Indians back in 2009. Has also caught for the Mariners, the Rays in his second stint with the Rangers, a couple stints with the Indians.
That's to right field. That's hanging in the air for Hunter. And Gibson ends up pitching a scoreless fourth, pitching again most of the inning from the stretch. You've got one. You can tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. You have a selfie stick?
No, I do not. How about yourself?
No, I don't.
No.
Joe Mauer will lead off the fourth inning. Sano and Plouffe will follow. Strike, an off-speed pitch at the knees. Mauer with a single to left. He has the only Twins hit so far against Gallardo.
I like Gallardo's delivery because it's a good follow through, and he kind of, from the old school, he'll kind of put that foot in the third base side of that pitching rubber, and then he brings up that glove, and then you can see the right leg going over the left, the landing foot.
The fastball gets a swing and a foul tip.
I think that's one reason he hasn't really had any arm issues. He's got a pretty good follow through. Bends his back, changes speeds well, not overpowering.
1-2 to the leadoff man here in the Twins' fourth.
Just a small step back, and then the high leg kick.
Just missed the outside corner. 2-2.
Gallardo, 29 years old.
And fouled away.
I mentioned last couple innings ago that he's the all-time strikeout leader for the Milwaukee Brewers. He passed Ben Sheets. He left the Brewer organization as the all-time strikeout leader with 1,226 strikeouts. 20 more strikeouts than Ben Sheets had when he was pitching for the Brewers.
Tap to the right side. Easy play for Odor.
Well,
One down.
You saw where that pitch was. It was pretty much right down the heart of the plate. But I think with the herky-jerky and all the movement, that Mauer maybe had a tough time picking up that ball, but just hit that little 4-3 putout. So 8 straight outs recorded by Gallardo. Take another look right here. Gets that left arm up and That glove almost like shields the ball until it comes flying out of his hand. And Bauer missed a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
Here is Sano. Drew a walk. After falling behind, we've seen that countless times. And he takes ball one here. Well, the Twins have 2 more series left with the Kansas City Royals. Chances are they'll see Johnny Cueto at least one more time. And Cueto has a gyrating, the ball hit to third, easy play for Beltre. A gyrating delivery. And Brad Ausmus said some of his pitches were illegal pitches because he hesitates in the middle of the delivery. 2 down. That'll bring up Plouffe. Join us September 4th for the Lynx Night Out ticket offer. Welcome by Fox Sports North for just $30. Fans receive a ticket to the game, craft beer sampling, and a commemorative Lynx beer stein. For details, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events.
I guess Ausmus never saw Louis T on pitch then, did he? Louis would do all that stuff.
Plouffe came up with 2 men aboard and 2 out in the first.
All the little hesitations.
Goes after a high fastball. 1-1. One chance the Twins had to break through against Gallardo so far. Plouffe's at bat, first and second, 2 down in the first, and Trevor ended up bouncing out to short. 2-1.
Gallardo's best season came with the Brewers back in 2011 when he won 17 ball games for them in 33 starts. Career high 208 innings pitched.
Popped up right center field. And Chu makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3-4. 10 in a row sent down by Giovanni Gallardo. Pepsi fans of the game. A lot of Kurt Suzuki fans out there.
A little family reunion here at Target Field for the Suzuki family and friends.
Delino DeShields has 2 singles against Kyle Gibson, each single leading off an inning, and it's helped make it a long night for Gibson, who hasn't thrown many pitches from the windup.
Yeah, he needs a quick inning right here. 75 pitches right now for Gibson. See Plouffe taking the bunt away.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Now with 2 strikes, Plouffe can relax a little bit, move back a little bit.
And on 3 pitches, DeShields strikes out, 1 down.
A good sinker right there, and strikeout number 6 for Gibson. Gibson off to a good start here in the top of the 5th. Good sinking fastball down and in.
6th strikeout for a non-strikeout pitch. 1 down. Here's Chu, struck out in the 3rd. Mentioned Beltre's cycle. There's a ball hit wide of first. Chu also hit for the cycle back on July 20th. The last team to have 2 players hit for the cycle in the same year, the Twins, when Jason Kubel and Michael Kadire did it. One strike to Chu. Chu's become more or less a platoon player for the Rangers. He's not getting a whole lot of time against left-handed pitching. Strike. And for the contract that he signed, and the Rangers are paying off the contract, they were counting on him being more than a platoon player. Chu hitting just 180 against lefties.
Yeah, Chu signing that big contract that carries him all the way to 2020.
Down and in, 2-2.
Changeup.
Tapped weakly to Dozier.
In an outstanding spot, down and away.
2 down. And that'll bring up Fielder with the bases empty.
That's a 4th ground ball out for Gibson. They go with 3 fly ball outs and 6 strikeouts.
Carsoup.com trivia. Now you've had weeks to prepare for these trivia questions. A lot of research done in your library. Who are the 3 Texas Rangers to win an American League batting title? Ball 1.
Well, you're looking at me like I know. Well, once I find it on what page it is in the media guide, I will know.
One and 0. Fox Tracks presented by Jeep, and now 2-0. Beltre on deck. Gibson would like to come back and get Fielder here and have that quick 1-2-3 inning.
As a pitcher, you know Fielder has the green light right here, and he's probably looking something inner half of the plate. See where Suzuki sets up right here. A little bit away.
And he pushes it through the left side of the infield.
And he got the green light, but lined it into left field. His 2nd hit.
And that'll bring up Beltre. Beltre with a bouncer to short that was turned into a double play, and then he struck out, with the Rangers threatening to do more damage in the 3rd.
You know, talking to Steve Busby and Tom Grieve about Fielder, why that average is so high. It's situations like that. I think in the past he was going to try to hit the home run right there. Fastball away, just took it to left field. That's why the high average now might be leading the American League in hitting with 2 hits.
Kipnis on the disabled list. Kipnis is going to try to come back from a bad shoulder. Fielder has an issue, something in his eye. Kipnis is going to try to come back and play for the Indians and avoid season-ending shoulder surgery. Kipnis does not have enough of plate appearances, as you might expect, to win a batting title without playing some more.
I guess first base coach Hector Ortiz did not see anything, so Fielder's okay.
1 strike to Beltre. And now 2 strikes. Beltre continuing to establish Hall of Fame type credentials. The mix of power, defensive ability at a position that is the least represented position in Cooperstown.
Yeah, over 400 home runs, over 2,700 hits.
Chop foul, 2 strikes.
Beltre at 36 years old. 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner.
0-2. Down and in.
He struck him out on a good sinker down and in his last at bat in the 3rd inning. Trying it again. You can see all 4 pitches so far have been inside to Beltre. Down and in. Suzuki again wants it in.
Bounce to short and a long underhand toss to Dozier. That wraps up the Ranger 5th. They still lead it 2-0.
And guys, I've never seen this. In honor of Bert's first game back, listen to this. It's a wooden sign. Jan up from Titanca, Iowa. She's got the hot foot at the bottom. She knows her Bert Blyleven. 50 years of being a Twins fan, and here it is, your first live game, and Bert is now going to circle you. What a thrill.
I am thrilled. This is just great. It's so neat to be here, and having this, you know, being able to talk directly to Bert is great. It's just like icing on the cake.
Well,
you did a great job.
A Twins fan.
The wooden sign, the hot feet, it all ties together. 100 scratch-off tickets going back to Titanca, Iowa, town of under 500 guys, but they're all Twins fans.
Very nice. You are hereby circled, young lady.
Fly to right. Hunter retired on Chu's catch for the first out of the 5th inning.
You know, while I was gone, again, I watched the ball games, but believe me, there is a big circle mark on my TV because as Jack or Roy tried to circle, I also was at home circling.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, would you use a grease pencil? Use a Sharpie?
No,
or?
just my finger.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to find out where Titanca, Iowa is.
Well, the Twins
Never heard
need
of it.
to get a base hit right here. Only 1 hit off of Gallardo. That came with Joe Mauer with 2 outs in the 1st inning. 11 retired in a row.
Rosario, the batter. And a belt high strike. There's Titanca, Iowa, just south of the Minnesota border. And it's not far. Oh, I'd say 15 minutes from Burt, Iowa.
Oh, very nice.
But it's B-U-R-T.
Oh, they spell it wrong.
So it's about an hour.
I bet there's some really
west
nice
of Mason City.
Burt.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I didn't want to question that. Here's our Sanford Health injury report. Byron Buxton activated yesterday. He was on a rehab assignment, a left thumb strain. Triple, couple of runs batted in the first game of a doubleheader. 1-2 to Rosario in the 5th.
Yeah, remember he got called up earlier from Double-A, so this is his first stint at the Triple-A level.
See what Andrus can do with it. He doesn't get much on the throw, and Rosario gets an infield hit.
There you go. Hopefully get the Twins off the snide right here. It's an infield base hit for Rosario, only the second hit. And that stops that streak of 11 straight outs for Gallardo. He just hit it in the right spot. That's why Rosario, I think this guy, if he stays healthy, he's going to be wearing a major league uniform for many years to come. Looks very comfortable up here.
He is one of the least experienced players the Twins have run out there this year, and yet he has been the most consistent. I mean, his average hasn't fluctuated much from 275 to 285. Here's Suzuki. Just need to string something together here. Or perhaps get a home run from an unlikely source as the Rangers did. They got a home run from Andrus. And for Andrus, it was his 5th home run of the year. Suzuki's next home run
Dick,
will be his 5th.
Yeah, go back to Rosario. I think what we have seen from him, he can pull the ball, he can hit the ball the other way, he utilizes his speed, does a lot of good things. 9 stolen bases on the season so far. He gets a throw over.
Twins being out hit 7-2 so far tonight. Uh-oh. Picked him off. Rosario was taking a step towards second, and he never did get back to the bag. 2 down.
Gallardo getting a pickoff right there. His 2nd of the season. And his 12th career pickoff. Took that step and then the quick throw and gets tagged out by Moreland.
1-0 to Suzuki. Fouled back. Gallardo takes care of Rosario after the infield hit. See if Suzuki can come through for his fans. In the outside corner, 1-2. Second time Gallardo's hit that corner in the Suzuki at bat.
Again, that's a pitcher's pitch right there. Fastball down and away. See the 2 and the 3.
And now in the dirt, 2-2.
Always go back to that. I had a chalk talk today with a lot of season ticket holders, and they asked about, what your goal was as a pitcher. I always said I always pictured that Ted Williams chart with all the baseballs in it. If you could, Ted Williams said if every ball was down and away in the black, he would have hit 230. And if that, say a right-handed hitter right there, I'm talking about right there, exactly where the 2 and 3 is, and that's what Ted Williams said. He would have hit only 230 if every pitch was right there. Well, what's that tell you as a pitcher? You have to control the corners on both sides against a right-hander and a left-hander.
3-2 to Suzuki. Escobar on deck. I want to learn more about this chalk talk thing. Did they actually put you in front of a blackboard and give you some chalk?
No, they won't allow me with chalk. No, they won't give me any.
Ball stroke foul.
About 20 season ticket holders. I've done it from time to time. We kind of meet up in the Legends area and just talk a little baseball.
But It's called chalk talk for no good reason.
No, I have no idea why they call it chalk talk. It should be called Burt talk, because they ask questions and I talk.
Okay. 3-2 to Suzuki.
I thought maybe Dave Chalk was going to show up. He used to be with the Rangers.
Full count. Gallardo about to throw his 79th pitch. Twins haven't done much against him. A couple of singles.
Gallardo with 97 major league wins, 73 losses, good win-loss record, making his 235th major league start.
And Suzuki takes a walk.
Second walk the Twins have taken. There's a Suzuki family, very excited, and friends. See if he can touch home plate this inning.
Escobar's next home run would be his 5th. Just need a jolt here. They need to get what's turned into a pretty nice crowd here tonight. Get them involved in the game. Rangers struck early, a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning. Twins haven't generated much offense again here tonight. Outside, a ball.
Jimenez calling time, and Gallardo, I believe, wants a new baseball. Jimenez is going to go out and talk to him about it.
How finicky were you with a quick trip to the mound with the baseballs?
Not really. Sometimes you get a ball, and believe it or not, even though they're all sewn in the same spot, some balls felt a little bit bigger than a normal baseball. Of course, I liked it when the seams were up a little bit higher.
Right. More friction, bigger break on the curveball.
Yep. You want that snap. You can hear the snap.
1-0 to Escobar. And now a strike. One and one. Foul over the Ranger dugout. Blue Jays won their game 4-2. Yankees and Indians tied at 2, bottom of the 9th.
What's that, 9 in a row now by the Blue Jays?
We went to Toronto. Twins had a lead over Toronto in the wild card standings. That's how quickly things can flip around one way or the other. 1-2. And now up high. Two and two. Fouled away again.
Gallardo making his 24th start. His 8th career start against the Twins. You see the pitch count at 84. He has 4 complete games in his career in 234 starts. 3 career shutouts. One of those coming against the Twins in Milwaukee back in 2010.
On the ground. And a quick flip from Odor to Andrus. That wraps up the 5th inning. Twins get a hit and a walk, but they still trail 2-0.
He was asked what he'd be doing if he was not a professional baseball player.
I would definitely be playing golf. You know, I grew up playing golf, and I mean, I still do till this day, and it's one of my passions. And you know, it's definitely something I still want to do. Hopefully, if I can, at the end of my career, you know, once I retire and be able to join the senior PGA Tour, so that way I have a little bit more time to get ready and prepare for the tour.
That was our Medica Sounds of the Game. We went on to talk about this weekend's PGA Championship at Whistling Straits. He said he has not played enough golf to be ready to tackle a course like that, but the young man's got a lot of confidence that down the road, guys, he can play professional golf. Good for him.
Well, thank you, Kevin. He's got, I forget what the total is. I want to say 8 holes in one. I mean, the guy's in his mid-20s, and he's already had that. I mean, he's really, really good. Can hit the ball a mile, and apparently can control the ball too, which is helpful.
Yeah, I have not played with Aaron Hicks, but I've been in tournaments with him as far as golf, and well, they say he is very, very good, very consistent.
1-1 to Moreland. And that's hit to left field. Rosario over and snags it, reaches up and makes the play.
They made that look easy, but that ball was hit on a line right there. Rosario went over the last second, had to reach up and snare that line drive. Kind of stopped right there and then went back and reached up like it was nothing. Nice play.
Gibson now with 5 1/3 innings, and that's not anything to write home about, but it is longer than any start the Twins have had in about a week. A strike on the outside corner to Hamilton. Hamilton with a single in the second, right in front of Andres' home run. Then he hit a little nubber, looked like a swinging bunt for a hit. Gibson made a great play to throw him out, leading off the fourth. 1-1. Casey Fiend getting loose. Twins would like to get Gibson through 6 innings here. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, good changeup right there. Again, good movement. Gibson with 1 walk in the ball game, 6 strikeouts.
11 times this year in half his starts, Gibson's reached triple digits in pitches thrown.
Yeah, most pitches he has thrown, 114. That came in the 8 shutout innings in Kansas City back in early July.
And now 3-2 to Hamilton. He hasn't had a 1-2-3 inning. At least 1 hit allowed in every inning.
I take that back. 117 pitches thrown against the Royals here back in June.
Full count to Hamilton. And he lost him. Fastball tailing outside. That'll bring up Andres. Follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Yeah, the walk right there by Gibson, the second, and what Paul Molitor and also Neil Allen want is Gibson to get through this inning. He doesn't want to bring in a reliever here in the 6th inning. And as a starter too, you want to finish that inning, so when a reliever comes in, he is fresh. He starts probably the 7th inning because of the pitch count.
That's one of many things that's gone wrong with the Twins since the All-Star break. A lot of mid-inning pitching changes.
Right.
Popped up right side, Dozier to the outfield grass. Hunter coming in, and Torrey calls him off. 2 down.
You know, the game has changed, Dick, again with the scoreboard showing exactly how many pitches you have. As a pitcher, you look up there and Gibson can turn around and see 102 pitches, and whatever's left in the tank, he knows he's got to get it out right now because there'll be no 7th inning for Gibson. It didn't used to be that way.
Jack Morris told the story, and I trust Jack.
You do?
I do. He said he saw a game. This is before Nolan Ryan harnessed his control, and Nolan would strike a lot of guys out. He'd walk a lot of guys, but Nolan walked, I forgot what Jack said. He struck out 12, walked 10, and threw in the neighborhood of 260 pitches in the game.
Probably with the Angels. Yeah, I had a chance. I don't know if you remember when we were in Arlington many years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. I had a chance to sit down with Nolan and talk about that. And he said he probably averaged, he would guess, on an average, 160 to 170 pitches a start.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. But can you imagine 250, 260 pitches thrown? I mean, that's like 3 starts worth these days.
I remember when he pitched against the Twins in Anaheim with that twilight going down. Nolan was all over the place anyway, and he had one of those games against the Twins, struck out 15, 16 batters and walked 9 or 10, and yeah, no telling how many pitches.
Nice stop by Suzuki. One of the funniest baseball stories I've ever heard has to be told by Tony Oliva, and he's told it on many of the caravan stops about one of those games with Nolan Ryan and Rod Carew in the batter's box and Tony in the on deck circle. And I won't even try to tell it because it needs to be told by Tony.
Yes, in the twilight.
1-2.
Hey, Rumi.
And a called 3rd strike. Gibson picks up another strikeout, another scoreless inning, but he and the Twins trail 2-0. Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by see where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's. Have bold for breakfast with the new chorizo burrito from McDonald's. And shakes for Kyle Gibson. 2 runs allowed over 6.
He's pitched well here. You know, Twins offense, they were sputtering coming into this game right here. Hopefully they can pick up a couple runs or 3. Maybe get Gibson a win. So Gibson done for the night. 6 innings, only 2 runs allowed.
Hicks takes ball 1 and ball 2, and really a sign of encouragement, the fact that the Rangers had guys on base in every inning and nothing really mushroomed out of control. See, with 3rd time's a charm for the Twins against Gallardo. Popped up, it will reach the seats. Hicks with a big aggressive swing on 2-0, which is what you'd like. But he lifted a tall pop-up.
Again, you look at the Rangers too. They've won 8 of their last 11 ball games after the All-Star break, hitting .287 as a ball club. You know, a lot of scoring, a lot of runs. So good job by Gibson keeping the club in the game. Now it's up to the offense to pick up the pitching.
2-1. Hicks, Dozier, Mauer. 3-1.
Gallardo with 2 walks in a ball game, only 1 strikeout.
And a strike, 3-2.
Mike Maddox on the phone out to a new bullpen basically for the Rangers. A lot of great arms out there, young arms.
Big pitch here. Twins trying to build a rally in the 6th against Gallardo. To center. To Shields, makes the catch. Hicks hit her right on the button for the first out.
Oh, he sure did.
And we'll bring up Dozier. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. 1 down, and now Dozier. A bouncer to short and a foul out to Moreland. Bunt. Beltre, bare hand, fires off balance and makes a sensational play.
We saw we saw him make that great play off the bat of Torrey Hunter, right, down that third base line here. Brian Dozier just trying to get on, but the 4-time Gold Glove winner again, bare hands it, off balance throw, able to get enough on it to get the speedy Dozier. You see Dozier not even in the picture.
He got him by 2 steps.
Yep.
2 down, and now Mauer. Mauer 7 for 14 against Gallardo, but there are 2 out in the inning. Mauer trying to get Sano to the plate with a man aboard. Down and away, ball 1. I mean, this is as well as you can play this bunt.
Look at him react right there. And I mean, yes, the only play he had was to barehand it, but then the off-balance throw was something on it to get the speedy Dozier. Great play. Second great play by Beltre at third.
There's a reason the Twins have just 2 hits. Beltre's taken 2 of them away. 2-0 to Mauer.
From those 2 gentlemen right there, Torrey Hunter and Dozier.
And a strike, 2-1. Sam Dyson warming up in the Texas bullpen. Kyle Gibson pitched 6 complete innings, and now Gallardo trying to do the same. 3-1. Sano has walked and bounced to third so far. Would love to have his power up as the tying run. Three and 2.
Pitch number 98. 118 is the most he has thrown so far in a ball game. Gallardo. That came in early May against the Oakland A's.
Full count with 2 down. And another foul. Gallardo again has really struggled as of late, coming into the game with just 19 innings pitched in his last 4 starts, and in those 19 innings he gave up 18 earned runs. But he has been effective here tonight.
Another fastball inside.
And a foul off of Jimenez.
Opening day starter for the Rangers. Gallardo.
Darvish was hurt. The injury started early for the Rangers in the pitching department. Another 3-2 to Mauer. And he walked him, and Sano will come up, representing the tying run.
Third walk of the ball game.
Jeff Bannister at 100 pitches might make the move here. Sano has walked and hit a ground ball to third.
Just pointed out to the bullpen. So Dyson looks like he'll be coming in.
One of 5 right-handers that the Rangers have, 2 left-handers. And Gallardo is off the mound. Got a lot of help from Adrian Beltre early in the game, and again here in the 6th. It's 2-0 Rangers.
Right, a telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Sam Dyson pitched a couple of games for Toronto a couple of years ago, then property of the Miami Marlins, and acquired by the Rangers on the trade deadline this year. He'll face Miguel Sano with a runner at first and 2 down.
He is a strikeout pitcher. A tight curveball, slider, changeup.
And Sano takes a strike, down and away.
Nice easy 97 miles an hour for the Miami Marlins. 44 relief appearances. 44 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts.
Down and away, 1-1.
Dyson, 27 years old, born in Tampa, Florida. Originally signed by the Blue Jays in 2010 out of the University of South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina.
Big swing, late swing by Sano.
Hard sinker, 97 with movement down. I said earlier, they got a lot of great arms out in that bullpen.
But you know what, we say that about everybody. You know, the Indians kept running 95, 96, 97 out of their bullpen. 1-2 to Sano. See if he can run into one here. That's to right. It'll be down for a hit. Mauer around second. He'll go to third. Sano will hold up. Hit it right off the end of the bat. A single, and that'll get Plouffe to the plate with 2 men aboard.
It's a good at-bat right there by Sano. You know, after a couple good sinkers down, Dyson left the ball up, and Sano just went with it. Didn't try to pull it. Just took it down to that right field corner. See the location? It looked like a breaking ball that stayed up, and Sano taking it the other way, puts runners at the corners with 2 outs. Twins pick up their 3rd hit.
The Twins base runners always have come after at least one man was out in the 1st inning. They got runners at 1st and 2nd after the 2nd out. Now 1st and 3rd after the 2nd out. Here's Plouffe on the outside corner at 98. Plouffe was retired on a ground ball after the Twins got a Mauer single and Sano walk after the 2nd out of the 1st inning. 1 strike to Plouffe. Now a ball.
Plouffe with 15 home runs on the year, 10 of them coming here at Target Field.
Chop foul at 97. 1-2.
Plouffe's last home run coming in Toronto against Mark Burley. A 2-run home run.
And another chopper foul. Twins have relied on Plouffe for a lot of their wins, delivering some big hits. He's got a chance for one here in the 6th. Behind in the count, 1-2.
See if Dyson can maybe hang a slider here.
To Andrus, and that takes care of the Twins' threat in the 6th. On to the 7th. It's still 2-0.
Yeah, the only scoring in the ball game, a 2-run home run by Andrus, that coming in the 2nd inning. And to pitch shutout baseball, you need a good defense behind you, because Gallardo had only 1 strikeout in 5 2/3 innings, and you need good defense. Beltre now a couple outstanding plays at 3rd base behind his right-handed starter, but for the Twins, Kyle Gibson. It's been a while since a quality start, and Gibson provided that. The Twins are down by a couple.
Casey Fiend comes in the game now. He'll face Jimenez, DeShields, and Chu.
Fiend making his 39th relief appearance out of that bullpen. Been pitching well as of late. ERA under 4.
Jimenez, the Twins playing a pull shift. The breaking ball, strike one. Yankees got a couple of runs in the top of the 10th to lead Cleveland 4-2. Popped up. Booth comes in for the first out. And that'll bring up DeShields.
We talked about it earlier, Dick, about the relievers, how they were used on that last road trip. And, you know, the starters in the 7 ball games combined for only 27 1/3 innings, where the relievers were needed 29 2/3 innings out of those 7 ball games. So there's some guys that needed that day off yesterday.
See O'Rourke and Jepson warming up. There's a bunt in the air. Suzuki with the catch, 2 away. Shields with a couple of singles, now a strikeout and a bunt attempt in the air. Suzuki out of the catcher's box for the catch.
Watch Suzuki right there. Sees the ball up, flips the mask off, able to get it in his glove for a quick second out.
And with Paul Molitor coming to the mound, with Shin-Soo Choo up, the aforementioned struggles against lefties, looks like Ryan O'Rourke will come in and pitch to him here in the 7th inning. Texas Rangers to win a batting championship. All right, big fella.
I'm looking very quickly at the media guide. So, yeah, I would have said Julio Franco, 1991, Michael Young. And Josh Hamilton when he won the MVP in the American League in 2010. So I got them all right.
So
ding, 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 ding.
It wasn't a you just ran out of time, right?
Yes.
You just ran out of time. You were going to get the right answer. Ryan O'Rourke comes in to pitch to Shin-Soo Choo.
Yeah, O'Rourke on that last road trip used 5 times out of that bullpen. A combined 2 2/3 innings. He had that one tough outing in Cleveland where he gave up 3 runs. Other than that, he's done a very good job out of that bullpen.
I mentioned Choo struggled hitting just 180 against lefties, and he wants to be a full-time player. He needs to do better against these situational left-handers. 1 strike. You know, the score of the game might be the only thing keeping Choo in the game here. They're ahead 2-0. No need to make a move. They've got veteran Mike Napoli that they might have used here if the Twins were leading 2-0. 0-2. And off the plate by plenty.
O'Rourke, 27 years old, started the season in Double-A Chattanooga, then promoted to Triple-A in April. Called up on July 6th. lot of sliders. Get some strikeouts like that, just missing down and away.
And now he needs to go after him. O'Rourke, as you saw, just 5 hits allowed in 12 1/3 innings, but 8 walks allowed. And he gave up 3 earned runs on the road trip when he walked 3 batters in a row, came out of the game, and then the Twins gave up the grand slam. Fouled away. Down on the 7th. Twins trying to keep within striking distance here. And fouled away. Now 3-2. Fielder on deck. Breaking ball. He left it up and Chu spun it back to the screen. O'Rourke doesn't want to leave too many up there.
It does have that tight spin on that pitch right there and on that slider, and he has confidence to throw it at any time. Tried Chu right there, but Chu fouled it straight back on that high slider.
High fastball got him. Another strikeout for O'Rourke. And Keane and O'Rourke combined to have a 1-2-3 7th inning. Best baseball movies of all time, Field of Dreams. Right? If
Yeah,
Moonlight Graham had gotten in and gotten a hit, no one would have heard of him.
No.
Well, the Twins trying to get something done here. With Torrey Hunter leading things off, and he takes a first pitch strike from Keona Kala.
Yeah, Kala just activated. He was started out of the bullpen with the Rangers and sent down and just recalled today. Just 22 years old in his rookie season. Kala with a good fastball, clocked in the upper 90s. Hard curveball and a slider, or excuse me, a changeup.
Scoreboard has 1-1. We believe the count is 0-2. Very high. They're trying to get on base. He'd be the first leadoff batter to get on base tonight for the Twins. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out.
98-mile-an-hour fastball straight over the top.
One down. Rosario will bat. First, a reminder that Sunday, August 16th, the Twins' wives are holding a book drive to collect books for TESFA International School. All books will go to help the TESFA school develop a library for the students in grades K through 6. The first 100 people to donate a new or gently used book will receive a $6 voucher for food and beverage at Target Field. Sounds like a win-win to me. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com for more info. Now Rosario got an infield hit but was picked off in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Twins with only 3 hits in a ball game, all singles.
It's cracked hard but foul. Indians answer with a couple of runs in the bottom of the 10th. They've tied the Yankees 4-4. The Angels are losing, and that's why, there's plenty of time for the Twins to get some traction here, start playing good ball, and reemerge as a playoff threat. The Angels had a 4-game lead on the Twins coming into play. Rosario swings and misses 1 and 2. But if the Angels lose, all the teams underneath them who win will pick up a game, and that could be the Twins. One and 2 to Rosario. That's off the knuckles on a little pop up to short center. Andres wants it. 2 down.
It got into the kitchen a little bit, created that pop up.
And now Kurt Suzuki.
Seen a good fastball from Keller. Signed by the Rangers in 2012 out of Everett Community College in Everett, Washington.
Suzuki with a pop to short and a walk. Down and away, ball 1. Half swing, half-hearted swing, 1 and 1.
Suzuki expecting a fastball. I was thinking up, but had some sink on it. Down.
And foul.
Another good sinker at 98.
Got home plate umpire Dan Bellino. The Twins drafted some hard throwers and had some frustration with the likes of Nick Birdie and others developing, throwing enough strikes to take the next step up. The hope was that those strong arms would started at Double-A, would be moved up to Triple-A, and in the case of Birdie, at least, he was moved back to Class A ball. 1 and 2. Fouled back. No question that in baseball now you've got to have mid-90s velocity at least We saw the Indians, as we said, 95, 95. Then they brought a guy in and made his major league debut, and he was clocked at 97.
I don't know where he's finding these kids, but boy, there's some arm strength. You know, give me 1, maybe 2 innings. But this young man, Callum, my goodness. That's a fly. 6'1", about 230, they say in the media guide.
And that's why it's really curious. You know, the body type doesn't dictate velocity sometimes. You'd think, all right, somebody's 6'4", 220. Well, they ought to be able to throw 95, 97. Sometimes it's smaller guys like this. Great leg drive. Remember Tom Gordon? He threw in the mid-90s. And now Suzuki, who really worked the walk in the 5th, might be doing it again here in the 7th.
I don't know. I was listening to Jack too while I was gone about talking about the strength you need in your legs. And Keller, one of those guys that you can watch him push off that rubber. Now he works off that first base side, but he puts that foot in that pitching rubber, and when he explodes toward home plate, it's all off of that right leg, and that helps create the velocity along with a great whip of the arm.
That's a deep drive. Suzuki waiting on 97. He just didn't wait long enough.
You know, as a pitcher, no matter what you do in any sport, you need good balance. And right there, watch the foot. Watch it push off of that rubber. It's like a runner off of the starting block when you're in a big race.
And the 3-2 coming to Suzuki with Escobar on deck.
That's your strength. Your arm is nothing more than a whip.
And out of the mound, Jimenez. Remember the Royals? I know he's had arm problems the last couple of years. A left-hander, Tim Collins, who was what, 5'6"?
Right.
But he threw 95 miles per hour because of tremendous leg drive.
Yeah, great curveball too. And he had that Tommy John surgery, and they're hoping that he'll come back next year.
He's trying to construct a threat after the second out. 3-2 to Suzuki. Tapper to Beltran, not a good place to hit it. And catch made by Moreland. And it's a 1-2-3-7 for Keller. On our promises, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag NorthDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. See, now that person right there, they did not need or use the selfie stick.
Oh, I like the glasses of the young lady.
Something Elton John would have. A 2-0 ball game And Ryan O'Rourke got the last out of the 7th, and he'll be asked to get the first out at least of the 8th. It's Fielder, then a right-handed batter at Beltre, and we might have a pitching change then.
We had 9 pitches. They ended up striking out Chu. Now Prince Fielder, who has a couple hits, 2 of the 7 hits for the Rangers.
Pitches up, ball 1. Running out of outs here. You can see Fielder, unlike Chu, has been very consistent this year. Righty, lefty. It's on the ground. Mauer with a nice stop. And O'Rourke on the bag. Good play by Mauer, taking a hit away from Fielder, 1 down. And we'll see if the Twins make a move. Now, here comes Paul Molitor. I was going to say, O'Rourke has done a credible job against right-handers as well. Giving up just a 118 batting average. In fact, he's actually done better against righties than lefties marginally. But Kevin Jepson's warmed up, and he's going to come in here with 1 out in the 8th. Against Kevin Jepson.
Yeah, Jepson traded over to the Twins from the Tampa Bay Rays back on July 31st for a couple minor league pitchers. A little shaky start in his first start as a Twin back on August 2nd here against Seattle, but 3 shutout innings and 3 appearances on the road. Jepson originally signed by the Angels and actually signed by my son Todd when he was a scout for the Angels. Reno, Nevada.
Jepson will be asked to get Beltre. Let's have another left-hander, Dunsing warming up. He may get Moreland.
Jepson, a hard-throwing right-hander with a curveball, hard curveball, and a changeup. 4 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings pitched.
17 at bats against Jepson. 8 hits. Jepson, of course, with the Angels for a lot of years. Beltre within the American League West Division. 1-0. Heading back just over our heads.
There's a lot of things over our heads.
Beltre took a double away from Hunter and a single away from Dozier in the game.
And quite a defensive night for Beltre, the 4-time Gold Glove winner.
And now 2-1.
Jepson, 31 years old. You mentioned the Angels coming over from the Rays. He was with them for the first year, then traded over. Came over in the Matt Joyce trade from Anaheim to Tampa Bay. There's a good fastball there, good location.
2-2. There's Dunsing. He's getting loose for Moreland, we would think. Diekman, a hard throwing left-hander. He can touch 100 miles per hour. He's getting loose for the Rangers. Tapped foul. Beltre's first big league year, 1998 with the Dodgers. Parts of 7 years with them. Parts of 5 years with the Mariners.
He signed that big contract with the Mariners. It just didn't pan out the way that Seattle was hoping. They got Richie Sexson too during that time. They were hoping that they were going to win some divisions.
And now 3-2. 1 year in Boston that kind of rejuvenated his career. He averaged down this year, quite a bit down, but came into this year with a .285 career mark. And a breaking ball, tap foul.
That's a left thumb that put him on a disabled list, and they say that he tried to come back too quick, and I'm sure he's playing with that sore thumb.
And that's one of the concerns for the Twins and Byron Buxton. Although the way Buxton's playing, he might be called up here sooner rather than later. A good day at the plate again tonight in the first game of a twin bill. 7-inning doubleheader. Each game 7 innings.
You see on the batting glove of Beltre, he almost has like an extra pad on that thumb. Of course, the left hand is the one underneath.
3-2.
Yeah, look at that.
And on the ground to Dozier. That's out number 2. Jepson gets his man, and Paul Molitor hasn't changed his pose. Jepson will be asked to get Moreland here. Maybe the left-hander warming up in the event Beltre reached. 2 down. Moreland 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a line out to Rosario. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Now it's just early in the ball game, but the Seattle Mariners are beating the Orioles 4-2. That's in the second inning. The Orioles, another team ahead of the Twins in the wild card standings. None of it matters, of course, unless the Twins play better baseball.
Exactly.
But the notion that the race is over is terribly premature.
Yes.
3 ground ball outs and a 1-2-3-8.
Rangers have been able to silence the bats of the Minnesota Twins. It's wasted a great bounce-back start by Twins pitcher Kyle Gibson. We'll have Jack Morris take a look at what Gibson was able to do to have success here tonight and get a quality start. We'll also bring you inside the clubhouse and get reaction from the manager, Paul Mauder. Guys, I'm hoping that there's some more magic left in this building. We've seen so many great comebacks. The bats have been silent so far, but 6 more outs to go for the Minnesota Twins.
Man, thank you, Kevin. 6 big outs.
This guy can throw hard. He was clocked at 101 miles per hour the other day. Diekman will face Escobar, Hicks, and Dozier.
Yeah, Diekman coming over from the Philadelphia Phillies in the Cole Hamel trade. Back on July 31st, making his 7th appearance out of that bullpen for the Rangers. 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, a couple walks. He had 49 strikeouts in 36 2/3 innings with the Phillies.
Strike 1 to Eduardo Escobar. Escobar hitting just 200 from this side of the plate, but of course Hicks, the next batter, a much better right-handed batter than left-handed batter.
Diekman with that fastball, 97 plus, a sweeping, a breaking ball, and a changeup.
Over the head of Hicks, who has to flinch. Now, we've talked about this before. The on-deck circle so close here. Hicks was about 15 feet forward from the on-deck circle to home plate, and now he's retreated back. He was up on the grass, and the ball was well over his head, but it was directly over his head. 2 strikes. Popped up right side. Moreland will chase it. Chu will chase it.
Run out of room.
And they ran out of room.
Yes. Boy, you look at Diekman, you have to think of Chris Sale. I mean, he's got that type of body frame that Chris Sale has for the Chicago White Sox. 6'4", about 205. Diekman, 28 years old, signed by the Phillies back in 2007. Out of Wymore, Nebraska. That's where he was born.
Escobar behind 0-2. And now 1-2. High number of walks, about 5 per 9 innings pitched. And now 2-2. Good 8th inning pitcher and a good luck omen for the Twins. Trevor May getting ready for the 9th. Fouled away again. 98. Escobar with a comebacker to the mound and a ground ball to second. Not the easiest guy to walk, with just 12 walks in over 250 at bats. But now it's 3-2. Twins haven't had a leadoff man on tonight. They'd love to get Escobar up for the top of the order. And Escobar draws his 13th walk of the season. He fell behind 0-2 and ends up at first base.
Well, you know what made that is, you know, he fouled off some high fastballs, kept fouling them off, and Diekman, as we showed you, that he has trouble throwing strikes, even though he does get that ball up into the upper 90s.
And now Hicks from his preferred side as a right-handed batter, hitting .368, a slugging percentage of over .600, on base percentage of over .400. And Dozier on deck.
That's off the glove of Jimenez, and it goes into the Twins dugout. Escobar to second. And that ball was pretty much center cut. It was high, but Jimenez didn't catch it.
Yeah, the high fastball hit the heel of the glove of Jimenez and got away from him.
Fastball to Jimenez, and 1-0 to Hicks. Hicks, our pregame guest on Twitter Tuesday. He slices one foul, 1-1.
What you see is a young man that throws hard, but there's not a lot of movement on his fastball. The Twins have caught up to it, just fouled him off.
One and one. Squaring to bunt. He takes ball 2. Beltre's already turned in one great play on a bunt attempt. Two and one. A high fly short center. And DeShields is under it. One away. And that'll bring up Dozier. Dozier 0 for 3. Tried to bunt his way aboard last time, and Beltre bare-handed the ball through to first, fell down in the throwing motion, and got the out by a couple of steps. Wasn't even close.
Brian needs a good fastball inside right here. Oh, belt high, a little higher. Gone.
Okay.
He'll be quick.
It's a breaking ball. Or no, that was 96. One strike.
Yeah, took something off his fastball.
Right-handed batters are now 0 for 13 against this guy since the trade. Lefty's 1 for 7. Deep to left field, down the line.
Stay fair.
Foul.
He got that high fastball. Just a little quick.
Just a long strike.
You know what's amazing about Brian's swing right there? A lot of guys would pop that up, but Brian just makes like a solid swing, like a level swing. The ball just hooked. Foul. Boy, had enough to get over that 339 mark.
A little too much hook. And now Dozier up there in an 0-2 hole. Deep to center field. DeShields back. Makes a wonderful catch on the warning track.
Wow.
Delino DeShields with a tremendous grab of Dozier's drive.
Yeah, the hardest hit ball here tonight. I know Aaron Hicks hit a line drive to DeShields in the 6th inning, but boy, you can't hit it any harder. But what another great defensive play by the Rangers. This one, DeShields going back. It looks like it's over his head. There's no way he's going to catch this. But he's able to leap at the last second and make an outstanding running catch. Oh, he covered some ground right there. Great concentration. The leap
hit the heel of the glove and still went in.
Nice catch.
Dozier just misses a game-tying home run down the line and just missed hitting one over the head of the center fielder. 2 down, and now Mauer. Strike 1. trying to take advantage of the leadoff walk.
Can't hit it any harder than Dozier did right there.
1 strike to Mauer. Another off-speed pitch. Well, when you see 97, 87 looks really slow from up here. You can imagine how baffling it is. You know, when you're standing in the box, you're lefty against lefty. Mauer's got to be ready to hit the fastball, and 87 looks like it's hardly going to get to the plate.
And it would help this young left-hander right here if he is able to throw that breaking ball over for a strike. I don't think he's thrown the slider yet for a strike.
Mauer with a liner to left, and that will get down. A base hit. Escobar scores. Mauer to second with an RBI double, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, what I mean by that, you can't get the breaking ball over. What's a hitter going to do? I'm going to sit on your dead red, and Mauer did right there. Picks up his second hit, drives in his 48th run of the year on his 21st double. So the Twins on the board. Mauer gets the fastball. And Hamilton was shading Mauer a little bit toward the left field line, but ball hit sharply past Hamilton. And the tying run now at second base.
Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, will talk with Diekman, who's given up a couple of blistering line drives here to Dozier and Mauer, and now Sano to the plate with the tying run at second. Sano on the night with a walk and a single. Mauer, by the way, 2 for 3 with a walk. Glenn Perkins has been warming up. Might get the 9th inning in any case, but Sano trying to at least tie the game up here in the 8th.
Power against power swing right here.
Trevor May warming up as well. Just off the plate at 97. Big swing and a foul. 1-1.
I think if you're a baseball fan, you always want to see someone that can throw as hard as Diekman can. And then with Sano's power, potential power, and see how far he can hit it.
Up and away. Diekman thought he had a strike. He might have been right.
Box track says number 3 was a strike, but called a ball.
2-1. Fouled away. ...108 at bats, and 45 strikeouts for Sano. Trying to deliver in the 8th. 2-2.
Well, he tried the breaking ball and missed. Sano with 5 home runs, all of them against right-handed hitters. He's due to hit one against the left.
Three and 2 to the rookie. To right field. Going back is Chu. Off the limestone. He's tied the game with a double. Miguel Sano ties the game at 2.
Well, we've seen some good at-bats here in the 8th inning. Brian Dozier, an outstanding at-bat. Mauer with the RBI double. Now Sano getting up that fastball, making good contact off that limestone out right field. An RBI double for Sano and ties the game at 2 apiece.
You're absolutely right. Diekman's inability to throw an off-speed pitch for a strike. Once the count ran to 3-2, Sano knew what he was going to get and missed a home run by about a foot. A leadoff walk, a pair of 2-out doubles, and the Twins have tied it up. Sano driving in his 19th run of the year. Count full, and then missed a home run by about as much as Andrus hit a home run in the second inning, just about a foot.
Boy, he hit that fastball hard right there against that limestone. But it ties the game at 2 apiece. Shane Robinson taking over for Sano at second base.
Spencer Patton home run prone. He's given up 4 of them in just 21 innings. Opponent batting average low at .231. Robinson in at second, 2 down. Plouffe at the plate. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball.
That Patton with fastball, slider, we just saw that, and then a change up in his second season with the Rangers. Started it in bullpen with the Rangers, then back in June, optioned to AAA, then recalled a couple weeks later, making his 22nd relief appearance.
1 strike to Plouffe. Just off the outside corner at 92. Plouffe tonight, 2 grounders to short and a fly ball to right. Any hit to the outfield should score Robinson with the go-ahead run. No decision for the starters, Gallardo and Gibson. Over the inside corner, strike 1 and 2.
Yeah, credit again Kyle Gibson by keeping the club in the game. He gave up 2 runs in the second inning on the home run, the 2-run home run, but didn't give up any more. Good job by the bullpen so far by the Twins. Bean, O'Rourke, and Jepson.
One and 2 to Plouffe. Got him with a breaking ball. Plouffe spikes the bat and the helmet, but the Twins get a pair of 2-out doubles to tie the game up in the 8th. On the Sano double. We're tied going to the 9th inning. Let's take a look at what's next. Brought to you by CenturyLink. Nick Martinez will go for the Rangers, and Mike Pelfrey will go for the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night.
Yeah, Pelfrey will be looking for his first win in almost 2 months, so hopefully he will be on.
And we should mention that we have added Thursday's game to our TV schedule, so we will be televising the series finale as well. And now the 9th inning, and Glenn Perkins, who has mirrored the Twins' struggles since the All-Star break. He's pitched 6 2/3 innings since the break and given up 7 earned runs. And Hamilton takes strike 1.
Yeah, Perk making his 46th relief appearance. He worked only once on that road trip, and that was picking up his 30th save in the Twins' only win on the 10-9 win against Cleveland.
Out in front. Oh, and 2 quickly. Hamilton pops it up towards Plouffe. Escobar back there as well, and Escobar with the catch, 1 away. One down, and that'll bring up Elvis Andrus. Andrus providing the offense in terms of run scoring for the Rangers. A 2nd inning line drive home run, just made it over the fence in left. A rocket to Plouffe. That ball might have been hit harder than the home run. 2 down.
Boy, Trevor did not have much time to react.
I think it was hit right at him.
Yeah. Fastball down. Andrus hitting that ball sharply right at Trevor Plouffe. Wow. Check the webbing.
Rougned Odor 0 for 3. A ground ball, a fly ball, and a strikeout. Perk's velocity is there. The location, both the fastball and the breaking ball have not been there. Up high. Perkins got his 30th save in Cleveland, giving up a hit and a walk. And Odor behind now 1-2. Perkins about to throw his 8th pitch. If they have extra innings, that might make him a candidate to come back in the 10th. And there's a liner to left. A 1-2 pitch. And Odor will hold with a single.
Good job by Rosario getting over there quickly and keeping Odor, the speedy Odor, at first base. So Odor picks up his first hit.
Jimenez, the next scheduled batter, but we might see Mike Napoli here. Napoli comes off the bench, his 2nd tour of duty with the Rangers. A very disappointing first half with the Boston Red Sox. Hit just 193 at the All-Star break, but he's hit better since. And he's a veteran bat in a dangerous spot here with 2 outs in the 9th.
And Napoli cleared waivers. He was ended up picking up by the Rangers on August 7th, just 4 days ago, for a player to be named later. Yeah, Napoli had 2 very good seasons for the Rangers in 2011 and 12.
And strike 1. Rangers with a 12-man pitching staff, 4 bench players, including Napoli. And Napoli tried to untie the game, but foul tipped the slider.
Yeah, Napoli in his 10th major league season has 199 career home runs. 54 of those coming in those 2 seasons with the Rangers.
Tapper, foul. Pickens trying to get him with an off-speed pitch. Two strikes to Mike Napoli. And time call. Just about ready to deliver the pitch.
We saw Suzuki put the 3 down for that slider, down and in. That's where he'd like it. And they're going to stay with it.
Breaking ball missing low, 1-2.
Fastball in, get it in.
Down the middle, strike 3. Perkins with a scoreless ninth. Twins hoping for a walk-off win in the opening game of this series. So no taken out of the game for a pinch runner. So if we have extra innings, his contributions for the night are done. But Torrey Hunter will lead off the 9th inning with a chance to be a walk-off hero.
Spencer Patton out there to start the bottom of the 9th inning.
Torrey stands in the box with 349 career home runs. Down and away, ball 1. It is Hunter. Then it will be Rosario and Suzuki. Two and 0. Got Plouffe with a breaking ball in the 8th. Now he's fallen behind 2 and 0. Bobby Wilson is the new catcher for the Rangers. And Torrey with a hefty swing, and that got a piece of the home plate umpire again. Second time in as many innings, I think. Torrey,
whatever Bolino said made Torrey laugh. Sinker down. Oh my. Glad Torrey's laughing.
2 and 1 to Hunter. Line foul. 2-2 to Torrey Hunter. A drive to right center field. Chu back near the track. One down.
Yeah, a little bit off the end of the bat.
And that'll bring up Rosario. Rosario with an infield hit in 3 at-bats. Talked earlier about target field magic this year, and we've had some. 5 walk-off hits. On the outside corner of strike. 4 walk-off home runs, 2 by Brian Dozier, and a walk-off single most recently on August 1st against Seattle. Kurt Suzuki got that one. Check swing. 1-1.
2 breaking balls to Rosario.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
Another breaking ball.
Rosario struck out in the 2nd, got his infield hit in the 5th, and then popped to short in the 7th. 1-2 to the Twins left fielder. And now 2-2. Everything's been off speed to Rosario. And now a fastball down and away. It's 3-2. Rosario's not the easiest guy to walk. 276 at bats, just 10 walks, one of them intentional. 3-2. Chopper to short. And Andres throws him out. Nice stretch at first by Moreland. 2 down. And we'll bring up Suzuki.
A nice play by the shortstop right there. Andres going up the middle and having to get rid of it quickly because Rosario got down that line very quickly. A little short hop right there. Quick flip over to Moreland for the 2nd out.
Suzuki with a pop to short, a walk, and a ground ball to 3rd. Suzuki with the last walk-off hit, a single against the Mariners on August 1st. The family is ready to cheer. Missing inside, 2-0. If Suzuki could reach, then Escobar would have a chance here in the 9th inning. Fouled back. 2-1.
Yeah, Suzuki had a home run on that last road trip off of Trevor Bauer last Saturday, a 2-run home run, his 4th home run of the year. 3 last year.
Two and 1. Popped up down the right field line. Chu with a long run. And no play. 2-2. Suzuki's seen a lot of pitches tonight. He had to work for his walk on the 5th. He ran the count full in the 7th. Now it's 2-2 in the 9th. And he takes ball 3. Again, Escobar, the on-deck hitter. Twins have 2 men left on the bench, Nunez and Herman. Suzuki with a lot of pitches seen. Now he takes up and in.
Another walk.
And draws his second walk. And Escobar will hit with a man at first and 2 down. Escobar last year, of course, hit 35 doubles. The doubles haven't come nearly as frequently this year. Escobar with 16 doubles, 3 triples, and 4 homers. This 3-man bench really limits them here. Suzuki would be a pinch running candidate otherwise.
Well, of course, the Texas Ranger outfield playing a deep outfield.
We've seen Escobar from this side of the plate hit those drives toward the bullpen. 1-0 to Escobar. 2-0. And here comes Mike Maddox.
There's Bobby Wilson, who ran out first, and Mike Maddox following him.
Patton retired the first 3 men he was asked to get. Some control issues. A walk to Suzuki. 2-0 to Escobar. And over for a strike. Strike 2. And the count goes to 2-2. Three and 2, and now Suzuki will get a quick start from first.
That'll help Suzuki get a little start, little jump right here at first base.
See what the Rangers do with Moreland. He's going to play in the vicinity of first base. Keep Suzuki fairly honest. And the ball hooked down the right field line into the corner. It hits the sidewall. Suzuki to third. He's being waved around.
He's going to score.
Suzuki will score, and Escobar gets the big double.
Exactly what the doctor ordered after that ugly road trip. Good to see.
As mentioned, the Rangers had Moreland playing in the vicinity of first base. Many times you'll see the first baseman play back, and you wonder on that line drive if Moreland had played back whether he would have been able to catch the line drive.
The ricochet helped right there because Chu went into the corner and then ricocheted back towards short right field. By the time Chu could get to it, he fumbled with it a little bit, and that allowed Gene Glenn, the third base coach. You can see right there, you saw Suzuki taking off. The ball hitting off that short wall. He's picking up Gene Glenn right there. Gene saying, just keep on going. Score that winning run, Kurt Suzuki, and he does.
6th walk-off win for the Twins, and Escobar, who told Kevin Gorg he was going to laugh and have fun and show a little personality, and he ends up getting the game-winning hit.
He let his bat do his talking. Very nice.
Very important win for the Twins, who needed one exactly like this. Coming back late in the game, winning a low-scoring ball game. As we mentioned, their last few wins have been wins where they've had, it's far too rare, but high-scoring games, winning 10-1, 9-5, and 10-9. And this one, a nail-biting 3-2 win. They picked up a game on the Angels in the wild card standings. The Orioles are trailing.
Well, how about the way they came back in the 8th inning to tie it, too? You know, with 2 outs, Mauer with the RBI double, then Sano's RBI double tied it.
Turns out 3 2-out doubles decided the ball game. Escobar with the game winner. And a much-needed end to a really bad string of poorly pitched games. And Escobar is going to come out and have a visit with Kevin Gorg after his game-winning double. Guys.
All right, the man of the hour joins us right here. Big moment, big spot. What pitch were you looking for, and how'd you execute it?
Que fue un picho el cambio. Bueno, tú sabes, tenía 2 extras y quería poner la bola en juego y lo dejó ahí. Gracias a Dios pude conectar.
¿Qué picho tú estabas buscando? Dice. Yeah, he was looking for change. That was a change up too. So that pitch was down and he just hooked it. He was able to hit the ball, I mean, in the right spot.
You guys had that team meeting. You came out of it. You said you wanted to have more fun. Get back to what you were doing when you guys were climbing the standings. How much can this game help?
Nosotros hicimos un meeting hoy. ¿Cuánto tú crees que ese juego nos va a ayudar a nosotros?
Bastante, verdad que Tori Hunt es una persona muy veterana y supo hacer el meeting en el momento indicado y bueno, esperamos que con este juego las cosas comiencen a salir mejor.
Yeah, he said that the meeting was, the Tory made today, that was big, and I think this game is going to help a lot. I mean, for now long, he think that, I mean, we're going to have a good straight winning game for now long.
Almauder all talks about the smile you have on your face and the trademark come on. Can you give us a couple of come-ons?
Come on. Wait till there. Let's go.
Congratulations, Eduardo Escobar. Boys, what a big spot, Anthony, to get that 2-out hit down the line. The Twins win a baseball game, and maybe this can spur them on to good things down the road.
Hard to imagine a team that needed a win more desperately than this Twins club. They get it in walk-off fashion here at Target Field tonight. 3-2 the final for Minnesota. Up next, we'll show you how they did it. We'll show you how they stayed in the game long enough to rally late. We'll show you how Kyle Gibson delivered for Minnesota when they needed a start. And how about a shower for Eduardo Escobar? We'll hear from Paul Molitor and preview the rest of the series next on Twins Live.